we, for the first time in most of our lives, here in Australia, we're living through the transition from one monarch to another. And I've spoken to a number of people who have been surprised at their own responses. For those from our Nepalese congregation, this will be a bit bewildering for you because your experience of kings and rulers has probably been a bit different to us. But Queen Elizabeth has been the Queen of Australia and the Commonwealth, and in particular the Queen of England and the United Kingdom, for the last 70 years. She is the longest serving monarch in England's history, which is quite remarkable because they've had quite a few of them. And I was reflecting, what was it? Why is it that people are, many people are actually touched? And I've heard news anchors sort of their voices wavering as they try and communicate what her life has meant for them. At one level, it's normal when someone who is familiar passes away for that to be a jolt. But there's been something particular about Queen Elizabeth for many people. And I want to suggest that in a really confusing world, in a world that is changing all the time, hard to imagine the changes that have happened in the last 70 years that she's watched over. It's hard to imagine. One of the remarkable things about what she's been able to do is be stable, is be a point of orientation that many of us weren't even conscious of, but a stable point of orientation, a stable point of reference. What she's been able to do is persevere. We live in a culture that doesn't prize perseverance. We live in a culture that says, do what feels good. If Queen Elizabeth had done that, it would have been, our relationship to her would have been quite different, and I think our nations would have been quite different. It's interesting hearing people reflect on it, on her life. Words like sacrifice and duty keep coming up. Have you noticed that? There's a cute little picture of her wandering off into the distance with Paddington. I don't know if you've seen that. There's a passage in Romans that again reminds me about what is truly important. It says, Romans 5, we boast in the hope of the glory of God, not only so, but we also glory in our sufferings, because we know that our sufferings produce perseverance. Perseverance produces character, and character produces hope. I think one of the things we can be grateful for, whether you're a Republican or a monarchist, is that our Queen was a person of character. She was a person who persevered. And for many of us, if you stop and think about all the leaders in your life, there aren't many of them who have been as stable as her. As we reflect on her life speaks and invites us to think about what does it mean for us to be the kind of people who don't run away from suffering, from appropriate suffering, but to persevere, not to just do what feels good. We follow a king, the ultimate king, Jesus, who in the Garden of Gethsemane said, God, I don't want to do this. This is too hard. If there's any way, please take this away. And I imagine in Queen Elizabeth's time, there would have been lots of times like that. But Jesus' response is a response that our world doesn't condition us for. His response was, yet not what I will, but what you will be done. What Paul writes about in Romans there is the more we're able to do that, the more we're able not just to go with what feels good, the more it grows our character. And our character produces hope. And I think part of the reason we mourn the death of our Queen is because she's a bit of a symbol about what duty looks like, what faithfulness looks like, what perseverance looks like, and that shows us what Jesus looks like. Let's just pray for a moment. Jesus, we want to acknowledge that we are often all kinds of places, up and down and round and round, and we want to say thank you for Queen Elizabeth, who has been a symbol of stability in all of our lives. We have no idea what it cost her to be like that. But we are grateful that she was faithful and that she did her duty. And we are grateful that she can now enjoy rest with you, that she can now lay her crown at your feet. And Jesus, help us to do the same. Can you help us have the courage to say to you, in the way you said to your Father, yep, not my will, but yours be done. Amen.